So hello all and welcome, and it is I, the Bachelor Philosopher, also known as the Realist Philosopher. So how you all doing today? Hope you're all doing good, fine, and well. So, I was gone a while, took a bit of a break. I was gone from YouTube for a long time. I recently took a few months off from other alt-tech platforms. Also, it seems I missed some stuff. Seems I missed some goings on, as it were. And I wanted to comment specifically on this new, well, maybe not so new, body positivity movement. Yeah, where you essentially gaslight yourself into believing it's okay that you're a chunky monkey. You know, the three-letter F word that you're not supposed to say. It's bad, it's evil, it's wrong, it's shaming language. Murr. Yeah, the body positivity movement. So essentially, feel good about bad stuff, basically. And I've been watching some of these videos. I went to TikTok, did a search, looked around at some of these people trying to justify being overweight to themselves and everybody else, and how it's some kind of positive, how it's some kind of good thing, how it's not bad at all, it's good, right? Well, wrong with it at all. Just gotta learn to feel okay with it because everything's saying that it's wrong. That's just a social construction, arbitrarily created for no reason whatsoever. It's always these lefties, right? That hold these contrary worldviews. They always hold them, body positivity, good, F shaming, wrong. Meanwhile, I believe that there is no such thing as objective truth. There's just your truth and my truth. But at the same time, I believe in things like hate speech and body positivity, good, body shaming, bad, which means I actually believe there's some kind of objective universality to truth, while at the same time holding the belief that truth is subjective. Oh, really? So, holding two contrary worldviews at the same time seems to be the leftist bread and butter. But I'm really getting tired of this body positivity nonsense because completely 100% goes against biological determinism, what we prefer. Women don't want to be with fat guys. They don't want to be with overweight guys, but they want you guys to be with overweight broads. So they, at some level, recognize that there's an objective universal truth in regards to preference for thinner over fatter. And yet, when it comes to what men should want for women, no. You should accept, you should want overweight broads, right? The fact that you don't, well, you've just been socially programmed not to like that. There's no biologically determined preference there. Okay, will you date a fat dude? No. It's not attractive to me. Or most women, by the way. So I came across this one broad on TikTok. She's got like millions of views on some of her viral clips where she's seeking to justify being overweight. And she's some kind of model. She claims to be a dancer, too. I'm just like, you ain't dancing very much, honey. Either that or you're eating, like, so much food that there's no amount of dancing that's going to burn that off. I mean, don't dancers generally burn off thousands of extra calories a day via their training? So, and she's a model, right? A plus-size model, obviously. And she's a perfect example. I went through and looked at some of her videos, all the woke languages there, all of the, self-contradicting viewpoints are there, holding, contradictory views at the same time. A lot of cognitive dissonance going on. I thought she's a perfect example of your modern-day effeminist, wokey broad. So, let's just dive right into this and see what kind of issues I have with this chick who is emblematic of the majority of Western women. It seems as, like 68% of them are overweight. So, at least in America. Probably more in the UK. Anyway, let's dive in, shall we? So here's the chick in question. Her name is Juliana Davis. I think she's got something like more than 10 million views on this particular video on Instagram, and it's like 2-something million on TikTok, which is where I'm looking at it now. As you can see, dating is a mid-sized woman. Mid-size? Yeah. So notice she's doesn't want to use even the term plus size. No, I'm mid-size. I don't know what metric she's mid-size by. I mean, she's a big girl. She might not look it in the face. And by the way, her face ain't bad. I mean, she doesn't have an ugly face, but unfortunately, her body is hideous because she's been much, much heavier. She had an eating disorder, got a big giant saddlebag in the front. Lots of loose skin is going to be there. Even if she did lose weight, she'd probably have to get some kind of tummy tuck or something surgery if she wanted to fix that. Not a huge deal. It might cost a little money, but it ain't going to break the bank. But no. She don't want to lose the weight. No, she doesn't have to, right? It's all about self-love and loving yourself the way you are. Okay, let's get into this. Let's just jump right in.
I know I'm not the only one that feels like they have to hold off dating until they've lost weight. It's such a hard thing to get over. When I was the single friend and I'd see my friends with their boyfriends, the first thing I would think is, oh, it's because they're skinny. And when I reflected, I noticed that my go-to was to blame my body being the reason that they had a boyfriend but I didn't. And on my self-love journey, I'm coming to realize that that's not true.
That is true. What do you mean? Self-love? This is a term the lefties like to use. It's like this, representative of a self-affirmation movement, right? Where you just keep repeating to yourself anytime you feel insecure about a negative trait about yourself that it doesn't matter. It's not a real issue. It's just a bunch of people out there with their own subjective preferences trying to impose those preferences on the rest of us via patriarchy. But they're just social constructs. Yeah.
A beautiful, freeing, liberating realization to have.
Yeah, liberating. Not to be, held to task by reality. Not to be constrained by any boundaries created by the objective world.
Because what I and what you might be doing is projecting our own insecurities onto other people without even giving them the chance to get to know us. So
I don't think you know what the word projection means, but anyway, continue.
Like, I would have dating apps, but I wouldn't actually use them because I was scared to meet people, because I was scared of a potential fat-shaming rejection. Even if we matched, I would kind of invalidate that and just think, oh, they don't know what they're talking about because they don't actually know what I look like. Even when I had, like, literal pictures of me in a bikini, I just thought that if they met me in person and saw that I wasn't skinny, that I would be automatically letting them down and being kind of like a failure.
By the way, honey, there's plenty of guys out there that would get with you, even as much of a chunky monkey as you are. It's just that those guys are not the guys that you want. She's your typical, Western woman, champagne taste, but a beer budget.
There's attraction works in so many different ways. And
yeah, on the fringes. But there are general attractors that are pretty universal for the majority of men. This is another thing that lefties like to do. They like to take the fringe, the exception, and try to compositionally, fallacy-wise, apply that to the general. Well, there's some dudes out there that like overweight broads and big feet and stinky feet and hairy pits. Well, yeah, but not the majority.
It's not fair and it's not logical to project our own beliefs about our body onto other people.
Because wait, but isn't that what you're trying to do in saying that other people's belief, other people's preference for women that are thin is wrong? I love the cognitive dissonance. It's so powerful as she's attempting to cope, right? Oh, it's wrong that people prefer thin woman. They should love me the way I am. And then saying it's wrong to project your beliefs on the other people. Wow. Could you be any more lacking in self-awareness, honey?
Even if you don't like the fat on your body and it makes you uncomfortable, that doesn't automatically mean that everyone else will feel the same way.
No, but the majority of people do feel that way.
I know for myself personally, like, there's so many different types of people that I'm attracted to. So why are we making this decision for them that they...
What? Oh, so she's trying to say that essentially, I don't put myself out there because of my insecurities, but what I'm doing is I'm projecting my insecurities about myself onto others in regards to what I fear they might think or feel about me. So the problem isn't that I'm overweight. It's that I'm letting myself being overweight stop me from putting myself out there.
They don't like us. Like, if you've matched, you should try it out. And this is coming from someone that 3 months ago, my most viral video was me talking about how it's hard for me to believe that I'm worthy of love in my body. But a lot can change in 3 months, and I promise you, what I have learned and what I am living proof of is that finding that love for yourself will help you find that love in your outside world. You are worthy.
By the way, she's still single, so it obviously hasn't helped her at all. Proof's in the pudding, honey. Of course, she ate the pudding.
Of love exactly as you are.
But that's not actually true. Plenty of people out there that ain't worthy of love. Was John Wayne Gacy worthy of love? Was Ted Bundy worthy of love? No. They were evil, scumbag serial killers. But by your logic, well, of course, there is somebody out there that's going to love them, but they're going to be sick in the head. And here's more copium, by the way. This broad's entire channel seems to be her whining and complaining about not being able to find a man. And she's not an unattractive woman, and she's not that overweight. And yet she can't find a man. So a female incel, essentially. And yet we're supposed to listen to her about how to find, quote-unquote, love or long-term relationship. Just think about that. Somebody who can't drive a car is going to try and teach you how to drive a car. Wow. Talk about the blind leading the blind. Okay, let's hear what she has to say here.
The minute a man rejects me, my first thought is, it's because I'm bigger. I haven't completely worked through it yet, but this is something I keep thinking to help myself. So I like to think of men's preference for skinnier women as a systemic issue. It's not...
Right, see, exactly what I was talking about. It's systemic. Men's preferences are nothing more than a patriarchal construct that keep women down, and so that women will adhere to a male preference in regards to what men want preference-wise. And by the way, why do they want that preference? Did you ever stop to ask yourself, what, if it's just some kind of arbitrary choice that was then imposed systemically to be some kind of social construct that is then projected onto and expected of women by the evil patriarchy, why do they have that preference? Why do they have that preference at all? If there is no kind of biologically determined reason for it. No, it's just some preference men just plucked out of the air. Well, if that's the case, why couldn't they have just plucked overweight out of the air? Right? Why couldn't they just pluck that out of the air, right? Why did they land on thin and not fat, huh? Oh, no reason.
Not a personal issue. So if this happens to you and someone rejects you in favor of a skinnier counterpart, remember that has nothing to do with you and your body and how worthy you are of love.
It absolutely has to do with that.
How beautiful you are, all of that. And it has everything to do with a system that pushes capitalism, misogyny, white supremacy, everything.
Oh, liking thinner chicks is white supremacy and woman hate, even though it's better for you to be thin because you'll be healthier and have healthier children. I don't know how that's hating women. It sounds like that's loving women, not hating them. What the hell does that have to do with white supremacy?
Like everything that I don't want anything to do with. Down our throats and tells us to change if we want to be worthy of love. And a lot of times I think that men benefit from the system so they don't question it. And
how do we benefit? Smaller food bills? Not having to accrue as much resources to feed you? I mean, I guess we benefit in that way. The grocery bill is smaller.
I don't know about you, but I don't even want to be with a man that doesn't question that system of oppression. But
it's oppression to want a woman that's thin, right? Is it oppression for women to want a dude that's rich? No, because that benefits me.
But at the same time, it doesn't make it hurt any less when rejections feel like a personal attack on your body. It has nothing to do with your worth and everything to do with a systemic problem. And
no, it has to do with your worth in regards to what men value. Now, if you don't care what men value and you think everything is just some kind of, I decide my own value in regards to what other people value, oh, well, then fine. You'll be alone for the rest of your life, but you can believe what you want.
This whole system has brainwashed us all into thinking that skinny equals hot. Skinny is hot, but fat is also hot. And
no, it's not. And everybody is telling you otherwise, but you're ignoring them because you're the one that's actually brainwashed and you're fat. And so you're self-gaslighting.
It's frustrating to feel like it's not and to have that reinforced by the men that you go on dates with. And
Well, why aren't you listening to them? It's so amusing to me. I'm not going to listen to the customer. I'm going to try to make the customer value what I value, even though what I value is something that to date they're not paying for. So I'm just going to keep trying to, on an individual level, browbeat all men until they value what I value, which will never happen.
people that you want to impress and you want to love you fully. I am still doing a lot of self-work on this, but
You want them to love you, but only if they love you for the reasons that you say they should. Their reasons are totally, completely irrelevant. I'm seeing a little bit of narcissism here.
it's been very cathartic to talk about it with you guys. You're all very smart, so if you want to add anything to this conversation, I love reading through the comments. Please let me know.
Oh, there's more. There's more copium.
I will never forget the first time that I saw that I had back rolls. It was when I was in eating disorder recovery and I had gained my weight that I needed to gain to be healthy. I was on vacation with my boyfriend at the time, and
She had a boyfriend. Why didn't that last? Oh, right, because when he got with you, you were thin, and then you put on all this weight that you call healthy, and he booked it because it was a bait and switch.
took a picture of me, and I was like, oh my god, this is the most stunning picture. I'm so excited to see it. And then I looked at it, and when I saw the back rolls, I just like freaked out, and I felt really, really bad. Flash forward to today, 2 or 3 years later, I'm a model, and every single time I do a shoot, the brands take pictures like this. This was just on my Instagram this morning. It's my back. It's like my money shot. It's like my secret weapon. And I've come to a place where I just think they're also so beautiful and they're so feminine and just, I love them. I love them. Because something that I used to think was one of the worst things on my body ended up, one, booking me modeling jobs, and two, just being something that I found unexpected beauty in. And I think that's what life is all about. Love.
Convincing yourself that unattractive traits are attractive, because there's no such thing as objective truth. But there is such a thing as misogyny and hate, which means there's objective truth. Okay. But wait! The hamster isn't done spinning that wheel yet.
It can be so hard to get over the idea that you have to be skinny to be deserving of love. Like,
No, you don't have to be skinny to be deserving of love, but by and large, attraction starts at a physical level. That is just a fact. Facts that you don't believe exist until we're talking about things that benefit you, then those are things that are hardwired into objective reality, and those are objectively true. But anything that doesn't benefit you, oh, no, it's subjective. And I can just discard it and dismiss it at whim.
today at work, I was sitting in a break room and all of the women around me were talking about their boyfriends. After doing the calculations in my head, I realized that I was the only person in the room without a partner. And this led me down the usual spiral, which was feeling bad at myself for thinking that thought, and then
And by the way, she's 25 here, so, yeah. And no boyfriend. Female incel telling us how to live our lives. And how to find love. Oh boy.
also feeling bad about the fact that I didn't have a partner and the way it made me feel about my body. It spiraled. And no matter how self-aware I am, no matter how much I try to get out of my brain, my first gut instinct is that it's easy.
Yeah, because people who are self-aware always need to get out of their own brains. Because they're so comfortable with themselves. They need to get out!
Easier for them to get a boyfriend because they're skinny. A lot of times also when my other
Yeah! It's easier for them! So why don't you just lose weight? No, I can't. It's not possible. Even though she was skinny at one time, so it is possible.
single friends tell me about their dating adventures and their one-night stands or whatever, there's a part of me deep down that feels like I don't deserve to do that as well. And
You could. It would just have to be with guys that you're not attracted to. But why don't you just take your own advice and get inside your own head and change your preferences, change your wants, change your desires, because they're all just social constructs, and they're wrong, and they're focused on the wrong things. And if the guy needs to love you for you and not for your body, then you need to love him for him and not for his wallet. Okay, so why don't you just do that? No. My advice doesn't apply to me.
really painful and really vulnerable realization. Maybe I'm not alone. Let me know. I feel like that. I want to just feel like I deserve love. And if any of my other plus
There is no deserved love. You either get it or you don't. You deserve nothing.
size or mid-sized people out there have had
Plus size or mid size? You're plus size, honey. Okay, stop saying mid.
this same realization. Let me know. I'd love to know if I'm not alone in this. Thank you for being here and letting me just express something that's really vulnerable.
So if you notice, there's a general theme here. Denial. Denial of objective reality, while at the same time making statements that correlate to and state that there is such a thing as objective truth, objective reality in regards to certain things that benefit her. A lot of self-gaslighting going on. So yeah, it continues.
My stomach has looked like this my entire life. It's been my biggest insecurity. It's been the thing that's held me back from things like in the workplace.
It's holding you back, honey, in the sense that that's a lot of weight. It's holding you down, that's for sure.
I'm trying to learn how to
It's called gravity.
love it, and I feel like I've just.
Why would you just? I'm sorry. I gotta stop it. I gotta stop it. I know. Stopping too much. Why would you want to learn to love something that is that unattractive and that every single man you go out with is telling you is unattractive? And you know that men are not dating you because of these things, but you're telling yourself, no, that's not why. I'm projecting my own insecurities onto them while at the same time saying that is the reason that they're not attracted to me. And I just need to keep looking for that one special guy that'll overlook all that and see me for me. Yeah. And what are you? You're a neurotic mess.
I've been holding my breath, literally and metaphorically, my entire life, like sucking it in, trying to hide it, trying to push it down. And this summer, I just want to let it go, and I want to metaphorically and physically breathe out and just let my stomach be. Life is too short to keep hating your body, which is the one thing in this world that cares for you more than anyone else. Like,
your body doesn't care for you. You care for it. You are your body. They're not two separate entities. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
your body's only job is to keep you alive and to keep you healthy. And
She's got it totally completely backwards. It's your job to keep your body healthy, and in turn, you stay alive. It is not a separate entity. She's creating some weird distinctions and divisions in her head to distance herself from the objective fact that she is overweight and unappealing to men. By the way, can you imagine living your life like this? I mean, when all you're thinking about is, should I suck in my gut? Should I not suck in my gut? The world is so unfair. It's such a systematic problem that men view me as being a certain way, and that way is viewed and seen as being unattractive. That's unfair. That's wrong. Will you date a man that's poor? No!
that I've just been like hating on it this entire time. And I want to be more loving to my stomach. This is me taking the first step. Just showing my stomach completely so that maybe other people feel less alone, and I feel less alone too. We all deserve to breathe out this summer. We all deserve to take up space, and we all deserve to treat our body with the love and compassion that it deserves.
People deserve compassion, not bodies. And bodies, well, they can exist separate of a brain. You'd be brain dead, or actually dead. You are your body, honey, but she's trying to create some kind of weird separation. Her language is extremely odd. Anyway, let's move on. There's more.
I gotta tell you quick because it's gonna get cold, but I just had the biggest recovery win today. Tonight I'm having pizza for dinner, and usually whenever I take food, like visible food in the metro, it makes me feel so uncomfortable. The like post-eating disorder side of me hates people seeing me with food. And
isn't this sad? Her whole life revolves around food. How she feels about food, how she thinks she should feel about food, as opposed to how she does feel about food, how she looks, as opposed, and how she feels about how she looks, as opposed to how she thinks she should feel about how she looks. That's her entire life. That's so pathetic.
kind of like projects into my mind what they think about me eating that food or me holding this food or this is why my body looks this certain way. Today, I was just like, yeah guys, like this is my pizza, I'll bet you're jealous. And I just...
Could you imagine being this woman? I'm exhausted just listening to her. She must be exhausted. This way of living your life, all this constant worry and concern and neuroticism.
Wasn't thinking about it in that way, and it felt so good. And even when I left the metro, I had to freaking fight through everyone because it was rush hour, holding my pizza up above my head, being like,
I had to get home and get my fix of pizza.
Pardon, excuse me. So I know everyone in the train saw me and I didn't feel ashamed. I was like, wow, I'll bet you're jealous and I'll bet you want this pizza too. And that is such a win because like you've got to remember that everyone on this planet has to eat food to survive. Like that.
Yeah, but they don't have to eat so much that they get a big, giant gut.
It's just a given. It's not a moral shortcoming if you eat food. It's not the reason.
It is a moral shortcoming if you eat too much. It's called hedonism. It's called gluttony. It's called a lack of self-control. It's a lack of being able to defer gratification.
Your body is the way that it is. It's just like something.
But your body isn't the way it is. Your body would not be that way if you weren't stuffing so much food down your gullet.
We all have to do, and it's not something to ever be ashamed of.
No, you should be ashamed. That's the problem. You're not.
And I think I've finally learned that lesson. So yeah, I'm gonna go. I found vegan pizza and I'm so excited to eat it. So I'm gonna go while it's still warm. Love you guys. Bye.
Yeah, you find yourself a vegan pizza, so that's how you justify to yourself eating the entire pizza in one sitting, very likely. It's got less calories than if it had meat. Not that much less. Oh, Lord. Oh, but wait. If you thought it was peak cringiness, no, we ain't reached peak cringe quite yet.
Because I noticed that I had a double chin. And I haven't had one in a while, and it kind of took me aback, and it kind of triggered me into my old disordered eating mindset.
You mean the one where you starved yourself, and now you just eat whatever you want, because of course you live by the, false dichotomy fallacy. Well, either eat too much or not enough. There's no middle ground that could possibly exist.
Because back when I was struggling, I would check my double chin to see if I was being good or bad. And like now that I'm thinking about it, I would actually be quite obsessive about it. I would look in the mirror and make sure that it wasn't there. And now it is, and I'm trying to combat that internalized fat phobia and this
internalized fat phobia.
Internal self-sabotage and hatred to just explore why.
Right, because it's not self-sabotage and hatred to stuff your face until you're sick.
It bothered me. I think our whole lives we're told these things where it's like, this fat is good, but this fat is bad. So like, this fat, good, but this fat, bad. I'm a model, and even as a curvy model, there is a hierarchy where...
Curvy model. Hierarchy.
It's like, you can be curvy, but your stomach has to be flat, and your hips have to be wide. And even if you're a size 20, you need to not have that double chin. It's also rooted in fat phobia and keeping us feeling like we're never good enough, no matter what, and keeping us focused on these like meaningless things to keep us in a loop of believing that we're not good enough and we need to buy a product to make us better. We need to work out and to lose the double chin to be worthy of whatever. And as a healed, eating disorder recovered adult, I'm challenging myself to not be scared of this double chin.
Now you're just an overeater instead of an undereater, so you're still suffering from an eating disorder.
About why would it bother me to have it when it's not hurting anyone, it's not hurting me.
Being 40, 50 pounds overweight isn't hurting you.
It's not a doomsday sign. It's literally just a part of me. My body is doing this right now, and it's completely okay. Nothing to do with my worth as a person. It's not hurting anyone.
Well, it has to do with your worth in the eyes of men. But right, you don't care about that.
And it's really just...
Even though that's all you talk about.
Just silly that just society decided that that was bad, but this...
And why did they decide that? Because it's based on biological reality and determined preferences. There's an evolutionary aspect to it. No. It's random.
This is good, If anyone else has had a similar situation or a reaction, will you let me know? Because it kind of surprised me how much it upset me after all of my internal work I've been doing. But I'm so open to having this conversation, and I think that we can all benefit by talking about it together.
But wait, there's more.
So I just woke up, I haven't eaten, I'm not bloated, and this is what my tummy looks like. And in fact, this is what my tummy has looked like pretty much my entire life. And after spending pretty much all of my life absolutely hating it, I'm finally coming to the conclusion that actually I think it's just okay. Yours looks like this too. I want you to stick around. Entire life.
No, my stomach's flat. In fact, I have a six-pack and pushing 60. What's your excuse, honey?
This has been my biggest insecurity. When I get rejected in a relationship, I'm like, oh, but my stomach. Or if I'm like seeing someone, I'm like, oh, they probably like me, but oh no, my stomach. It's been the thing that's made me scared to wear clothes, tighter fitting things, and it has just made me feel the most insecure and
You know, I see fat chicks all the time with dudes, so maybe the problem isn't your body so much as it is your personality and unrealistic preferences.
frustrated in my body. I spent all these years trying so hard to change it, and it's just honestly never changed, even.
That's not true! There's pictures of her, and I'm not going to bother bringing them up. I'm not going to bother going up in her history, but she's been thin before. When she had her supposed eating disorder, which she also has now, she just eats more now and overeats now instead of undereating. And she's been thin. But I'm okay. I have no self-control, but I'm okay up here.
When I was exercising a lot, even when I was anorexic, it never went away. I'm actually starting to be grateful for that, and I'll explain why. This is very vulnerable for the internet.
Wow, she looks so healthy mentally, right, guys? You want to get with her, don't you?
But I think it's important because the women on this app have helped me so much, and I want to do that too.
I don't think they've helped you. I think all they've done is enabled you in your self-destructive behavior.
Having this tummy has made me discover a level of self-love and self-acceptance that I never knew that I could have. When there's something about your body that society constantly tells you is wrong and needs to be fixed.
There's no such thing as society. Collectives don't exist. There's just a lot of individuals out there telling you the same thing. So you should probably listen, but you're not gonna.
There is a power that comes from realizing that it actually doesn't have to be. And learning to just believe yourself when you know that you're healthy. And if you show up a certain way, that's okay. And if it's not the way society wants you to show up, that's okay. And realizing that the right people in love or the right opportunities would never leave me because of my stomach. Does that make sense?
No.
And that takes a level of self-love that has taken me so long to get to.
Self-gaslighting.
It is just the most freeing thing because now I have such a profound love for my entire body because I've found the love for my tummy as well.
Oh,
and for that, I don't think I would change it. Like, I'm actually really grateful to my tummy for being like this my whole life because it's brought me to you guys and it's brought me into myself more.
Total strangers.
Than it would have if I were able to just change and conform and
God forbid I conform or something.
do whatever society wanted me to do.
Right, there's the word society again. Yeah, she's a socialist commie pinko.
And if any of you guys have a belly like mine, I want you to remember that it's okay and ask yourself, how can I use this to deepen my self-love?
Yeah, because, remember she said capitalism evil, patriarchy evil. Yeah, so capitalism is white privilege patriarchy. So she's a commie. Yeah, all her collectivist talk. Mumbo jumbo. But wait, there's more cringe.
Honestly, never being skinny makes me feel like there's this secret club that I've always been locked out of. And I go down routes of fantasizing about what it would be like if I had been skinny, how different my life would be. I went to a friend's Instagram that were really, really close, and I was just looking at it and thinking our life experience will always be so different because she just was born thin and she always will be thin. Kind of makes me yearn for this.
She'll always be thin. Even though she ate too much, she would become fat. And you'll always be fat, so why even bother trying to lose weight? Why bother trying to improve myself? There is no improving self, right? There's no better, there's no worse. If I'm 600 pounds or 60 pounds, it's all good.
Life that I'll just never have because my body is just not designed to be like that.
But you could! You've already been thin! There is no your body was designed not to be thin. That's absurd. Wait. So I find this interesting. So she acknowledges that there's some kind of biologically determined reality to being fat, which then justifies her not having to put in the time, work, effort, and discipline to lose weight. Yet, there's no such thing as biological determinism in regards to men's preferences. Oh, I love it. I love it. The level of self-gaslighting. But I'm self-aware!
I was born almost 10 pounds. I just wasn't predestined to be like that, but it's such a shame because it makes you feel like you're missing out on something. Even when you dress cool, even when you feel good in yourself, there is that club that you're never going to be in. I don't know.
You could be in that club, just lose 40 pounds. Nah.
I feel like there's always a sense of me feeling like less of a woman for it, and hardly express how much I hate the way that I feel like this. I'm just observing how I feel, but I want to know how it feels to live that way.
You notice this language is so detached? I'm observing how this feels.
Because I've never had it. I'm jealous of it, and I'm sometimes I just feel like my body isn't real and theirs is, and I'm just on the outside looking in, and I want to know what it's like for them. Does that
Don't you think it's odd you're having all this internal conflict, honey? You're having all of this internal conflict and all of these self-contradicting views, and you don't think that's emblematic of a real problem?
make sense? I don't know.
Yeah, so this chick doesn't make a lot of sense, but let's check out this final video from her.
If you're having a hard time being accepting and loving to your tummy, I just want to assure you that it does get better. A few months ago, I never would have worn anything like this outfit. The fact that you can see my upper stomach and the fact that my lower stomach is on show because of the leggings would have terrified me. But today, I was leaving work, I went to go shopping, and only halfway through my shopping did I realize I was wearing an outfit that used to really scare me. Like, it was, you know how people have fear foods with eating disorders? This was like my fear outfit. I attribute it to the journey that I've been on these past few months, trying to become more loving to myself and the body that I'm in. So if you're also struggling to accept
And the body that I'm in. It's not my body, it's the body I'm in. Notice the distinction she makes. She tries to distance herself from her body as much as possible. The body I'm in. That body isn't me.
or love your stomach or any part of your body, I just want to remind you,
Oh,
self-love
so now it's your body. It's not the body you're in.
takes time. It's absolutely not going to happen overnight. It's absolutely not going to be easy, but it will be worth it. And you will see the results one day. Like, I am living, breathing proof that maybe one day you can do the same thing. You can wear an outfit that used to scare you without a second thought because you've gotten to that point in your self-love journey. I know.
Yeah, I can go. Yeah, people really want to be like you, where their entire life is spent obsessing over this nonsensical minutiae, which means they don't actually have a life. So, guys, this is what you have to work with in the West. This is the modern Western woman. Neurotic as all get out, overweight, trying to justify it to herself, lazy as all get out, doesn't want to put in the work. And by the way, she's working harder to be as heavy as she is than if she just, ate less. You don't need to exercise, just don't eat as much. You're obviously taking in too many calories. You're not predestined to be overweight. That's just an excuse. Constantly making excuses and ignoring the self-contradictory statements and beliefs that she holds. So there you go. There you go. So let me know what you think. Is this woman a pretty good example of what the modern Western woman is like? Yes, in my opinion, and this is why I no longer date. But let me know what you think of this chick in the comment section. Do you find her as cringy and lacking in self-awareness as I do? Let me know in the comment section. Please like and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Hit that notification bell. Give me a thumbs up. Leave a comment. It's good for the algorithm. And don't forget to follow me on Alt Tech, where I am the realist philosopher. You will see the other platforms I am on, Alt Tech-wise, above where the videos were showing, and below where the videos were showing, you'll find my email. If you have any stories that you think I should comment on, send me a link. You also see my Twitter and Facebook handles. Follow me there to be kept up to date of any new content that I post. And on that note, I am out of here. I am the Bachelor Philosopher, also known as the Realist Philosopher, and I wish you all a good and pleasant day. Take care.